What is happening, my good people? Greetings. How are you? How's it going? How's everybody doing out there? What is the latest and greatest? Hope everybody's doing well, feeling fantastic and excellent spirits here on another Wednesday live stream. And I hope you can hear me. In fact, hey, Val, what's happening? I'll go to the comments in a second. I don't have the headphones in. I figured that why even bother, considering when I had done the live streams of the playoff game last week with the Steelers and the week before that. And for me to have an extra accessory here, which I get it is necessary. God forbid that you can't hear me or if it does sound staticky. But you know what? I'm going freestyle without the mic. So hopefully you guys can hear me without any issues. And of course, it's always a pleasure to be here to chop it up with you. And there's a lot on my mind. There's a lot to get off my chest here over the course of the next hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it may be. Of course, the love in the afternoon. Yes, Fishing Angel, welcome aboard as always. Val, much appreciated. Yes, not only did the Sharks lose, but the Warriors lost. And not only did they lose a big player in the process. J-Rod, my man, what is happening? Now, yes, we're going to talk about that, Val. We will get into that, I promise. Happy Wednesday to you, of course. And yes, J-Rod, I know, excited. Final college football rankings. Michigan finished 21st. I know you had I believe they had the top 3 teams were Big Ten. So I would think it's going to be Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon. I mean, really, does Oregon belong there in the top 3? I don't think so. But that is now with college football behind us. And we'll get into a little bit of college football later on, of course. And yes, my man, Minnesota Fats. I love it. We are getting played. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. All right, we're going to get to that. As a matter of fact, it's funny you bring that up there. Will Smith, 14 goals. Yes, and he's back in the lineup there, Val. And in case if anybody doesn't know who Minnesota Fats is, as I found out on Monday, Minnesota Fats is Dad's Chips, Rhoda Penmark, Everyday Mets, Tatsuya Imai, Cow, Bui, Bull. I forgot how to pronounce that. Yes, that is who Minnesota Fats is. And I love it. I love the name, everything. And also, funny enough how in your comment there says Mets fans were getting played, don't drink the Kool-Aid. Trust me, I promise you I'm going to get that. But guess what? Cheers. To you, Fishing Angel. It's everybody, of course, to Val and to Minnesota and to Jay and whomever else has hopped on board here over the last few minutes. Cheers. This is papaya and pineapple. No alcohol inside. And this is, of course, cold press, fresh juice. I actually made it yesterday. Cheers. So it tastes the tropics. That was made through my Nama juicer. And not that I'm a spokesperson for them. If they want to sponsor, that'd be great. I understand Nama juicers are a little bit on the expensive side. I have to thank my lovely wife, who's at work today, for purchasing that years ago. And prior to that, I had another juicer, which I won't name, but it was very good. It was very effective, but the best juice ever. So Nama, hands down, is the one. But Minnesota Fats, yes. I'm going to get to that. I promise you. And then 3 national championships in a row at the Big Ten. Yeah, when was the last time that happened? Oh, geez, if I have to take a guess, last time that happened. You probably got to go back. Oh, geez, I don't know. That's a good one. You probably came up with the answer to that. Yes, Fishing Angel. Absolutely. During World War II. You know, it's interesting. As I was thinking about that, I said, well, it definitely wasn't in the last 50 years. And I was going to go back probably to the mid-50s, but you're saying during World War II, so obviously it was before that. That is 80-some-odd years. So good for the Big Ten as they get off the schneid there, 80 years of not having 3 straight Big Ten national championships and 3 different schools, I might add. So that's something also to hang your hat on. Although I'm sure J-Rod would love 3 straight Michigan titles, just like we saw him in Nebraska in the mid-90s. All right. I'm going to get to this first one. Well, let me quickly, some housekeeping. Obviously, we know what today's date is, January 21st, 2026. Share your thoughts in the chat room, which you've already seen here for those who already have hopped on board. Those are my regulars that are on. Hopefully we get some new people in. Those watching on a replay, you know the deal. leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to follow up afterwards. And I also want to say this. Last Friday, I surpassed the 1,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. Thank you guys, my diehards who are here each and every week. And I know Brent, who recently got in contact with me, and he's doing well. Hopefully he'll hop on board one day. Of course, Bio, who I'm sure will join at some point. Bio, where I am, of course, one of goes way back. One of my day ones, obviously J-Rod, Fishing Angel, Val, Cal, Minnesota, Rhoda, Penmark, the whole nine. And James D is another one, DeNavis. They know who they are. And for those who hop on board from now to 2000 and beyond, please, I can't stress enough how grateful I am and how thankful I am for you for being a part of this journey. And as long as I'm alive and breathing, I'm not stopping. And I know I haven't shaved. I got to shave. And yeah, so I look a little scruffy today. So my apologies for not looking prim and proper. All right, this is going to be a little bit of a switch. I'm going to talk NFL. I am going to talk not necessarily the game national championship. I could talk about it, but I got to start here. Because when I think about the Hall of Fame, and you guys know me enough, I would think, that when it comes to the Hall of Fame, I'm a small room guy. I'm not a big room guy. I'm not like, hey, let everybody in. Hey, and I'm going to say something. I actually mentioned this on my short earlier. If you watched it on the YouTube channel, bless you guys. But I'm actually going to say something which may not be popular, and this isn't a hot take or anything like that, but I'm sure you're going to know where I'm coming from when I say it. So Carlos Beltran, former Met, as you know, obviously he's bounced around actually was a former Yankee too. And Andrew Jones was also a former Yankee. I believe played on the team at the same time as Beltran, or maybe not. Beltran, I think, got there 2014. 2012, I believe he was with the Cardinals at the time. Yeah, because he was with the Giants in 11. I think he signed with the Cardinals for 3 years, and it was a Yankee, I think, in 15, 16. But for Carlos Beltran, great career. What are you about? 279. All right. Average not great. 430-some-odd home runs. We know the RBIs. I believe he had 2,700 hits. Dominant postseasons. Give it up. And he's a guy that, to me, does make it not a lock. I understand you want to talk about the sign-stealing scandal there, his last year in Houston in 2017. But again, by then, his career was over. I mean, let's face it. But how I look at it, he's had a career a little bit more than borderline. Is it a lock? When you hear the name, is it automatic? Oh, yeah, without question. Because I could throw names at you, and you're already going to know that this person is a Hall of Famer. So, and the only guy, although he's just recently retired, but if I throw Albert Pujols, you're going to be, oh, yeah, no brainer, hello. Just like if I were to throw Willie Mays or Babe Ruth or, I mean, you name the player. Stan Musial, Mickey Mantle, Joe D. I mean, those guys, please. There isn't a second a nanosecond that goes by. It's like, oh, yeah, it's a lock. Beltran is not that guy, but he does have the numbers, and postseason also has to be included in this, where he's had some big-time playoffs. 04 with the Astros, where he had that tear to the Game 7 of the NLCS against the Cardinals. And then even with the Mets, against the Cardinals again, where, granted, the last pitch he saw was that wicked Adam Wainwright curveball, and I've said it then, and I'll say it again. Babe Ruth would not have hit that ball. That curveball fell off the table, right into the strike zone, and that's it. And I understand that's going to haunt the Met fan forever when they think about that year, that playoff, etc. But Beltran has had a career that's worthy of being a Hall of Famer. Lock? No, but fine. Here's the problem I got with this next one. Andrew Jones, one of the best center fielders of that generation. People are going to say Ken Griffey Jr., I think one of the best players I've ever seen. But for Andrew Jones, and for all of his brilliance in center field, and he was, that guy covered ground, that guy caught anything that was 50 feet left, right, and played a shallow center field. Which in this day and age with the metrics and all that, they're going to look at the card. And no, Andrew Jones is like, I know these players. I know these batters. I know strengths, weaknesses. I know where to play. And he's had some good offensive years. One year he hit 51 homers at 140 some odd RBIs. I believe led the National League in both of those categories. And was a guy that came in at 19. We know about the 2 homers against the Yankees. I believe it was game 1 of the World Series in 96. 19 years old. And very good career. No ifs, ands, buts, babies about it. And I'm not putting this on him. This isn't an indictment on Andrew Jones. This is more of an indictment on the Baseball Writers Association. What did they see in Andrew Jones that lock Hall of Famer that right away? I understand he's not first ballot, but I mean, really? Andrew Jones played 16 years. Played in 5 All-Star games. Not that that means a lot, but I guess it does mean something when it comes to resume. We understand Gold Gloves. He had 10 of them. All right. Fantastic. He led the league in home runs at one time and RBIs. Okay, great. He had 400 some odd home runs, maybe even close to Beltran for that matter. But now here's where it really gets dicey when it comes to Andrew Jones. You know what his lifetime batting average was? 254. And I understand that there are guys in the Hall of Fame that do not have excellent batting averages. I get that. But 254, that's average. That is not even good. So that's number one. Number two, do you know that he was in the MVP voting top 5 in his 16-year career once, top 10 twice? Albert Pujols in his first 10 years, and I understand people say, oh, Jay Reels, how could you compare Albert Pujols to Andrew Jones? Well, do you know that Albert Pujols in the first 10 years of his career in St. Louis, he was top 10 9 of those years, won 3 MVPs, I might add, and he was top 5 7 times. That's dominant. Was Andrew Jones dominant? Is the Hall of Fame for dominance? Is the Hall of Fame for great? Yes, it is. And just like I said a couple of minutes ago, he had good numbers and very good numbers. But Hall of Fame numbers? I think not. And that's it. Again, this isn't to say that Andrew Jones, if I looked at him and say, hey, you're not a Hall of Fame. No, it's the writers that are getting him in. It's not as if Andrew Jones is saying, well, I'm petitioning myself for the Hall of Fame, and here I am. I'm here. No, because from a fan's perspective, and who's watched Andrew Jones, considering he played the majority of the career in Atlanta with the Braves, and obviously as a Met fan, I've watched him a zillion times. And yes, I mean, the guy had power. The guy, like I said, he could catch anything. But he was not dominant throughout the course of his career. And I know I brought this up several times before I get to my unpopular opinion. I look at a guy like Craig Biggio. And Biggio was a guy that played 20 years, was an all-star 8 times, I believe MVP, top 5, maybe twice. How is that a dominant player? But wait, Jay Reels, how can you say that? He had 3,000 hits. Well, if I'm healthy and I play 20 years in Major League Baseball, guess what? I could get 3,000 hits. He was a compiler. He wasn't dominant. And then what I love to do is to make comparisons. Look at a guy like Albert Bell. There is not any baseball fan alive that knows baseball. When you compare the numbers of Albert Bell and Craig Biggio, if you were to draft that guy on your team tomorrow, who are you taking? Please, Craig Biggio wouldn't even be anywhere near my conscience when it comes to drafting him ahead of Albert Bell. Not in the least. Do I even need to bring up the numbers? And people are going to say, well, Jay Reels, damn, what do you have for Albert Bell? That guy, I mean, if I go through his numbers and all the black type, I mean, the guy was a phenomenal offensive baseball player. I understand he was a louse. I understand that he was terrible to the media, and he got robbed of that 95 MVP. Mo Vaughn won it that year, and I like Mo Vaughn. But Albert Bell that year, in a strike-shortened year, 50 homers, 50 doubles? I mean, come on. Not only the guy had power, the guy bat one year, I believe he batted 351. Craig Biggio batted 351 at any point in his career? I think lifetime he was 280. Need I say more? So now let me get to my unpopular opinion. And I thought about this yesterday, and of course, over the years, you think about it, like, I don't know, whatever. If the baseball writers are going to start letting in guys like Scott Rowland, as well as Andrew Jones, and we've seen the committee, Harold Baines, and I get it, Jerry Reinsdorf and Tony La Russa was on that committee, and of course, he played in Chicago with the White Sox, and obviously the owner and the manager that, of course, managed Baines, they were going to let him in regardless. But if they're going to start letting these guys in, then you got to let the steroid guys in. And people say, whoa, Jay Reels, what? You're going to let these steroid guys? You're going to let Bonds, McGuire, Sosa, A-Rod, Manny Ramirez? Why not? Those guys we knew, juice or no juice, were Hall of Fame players. A-Rod was one of the best talents you could ever see. Shortstop, the arm, the power, etc. I mean, come on. I understand people, not their cup of tea for A-Rod because of his attitude or whatever. All right, that's fine. But playing baseball, that guy was great. And same for Manny Ramirez. That guy, and you could say, all right, steroids, whatever. But that guy was a tremendous hitter. And going down the line with Bonds. And I get another louse, not great to the media, surly, etc. But if you're going to start letting these guys in, then you got to let the steroid guys in. That's it. And you can put it on their plaque like, hell, whether they failed the test or not, but you can put the asterisk and say that this person may or may not have been performantly enhanced by drugs. Or I'm sure they can word it a lot better than I can. That's it. End of story. Their numbers are deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. Roger Clemens is another one. Their numbers are deserving to be in the Hall of Fame. And how I look at it is that if you're going to let these guys in, I mean, it's a joke. It's now going to be the Hall of Fame for the very good, not for the elite, excellence, dominance. Those days are over. They're gone. And I don't want to hear this because, oh, well, we can't let the steroid guys in, so we're going to have to let a guy like Andrew Jones in. I mean, come on. No. Then don't let anybody in. Don't. Why not? Thankfully, I'm not a baseball writer because he wouldn't have got my vote. And a lot of these guys that were on the list, too. Jimmy Rollins. I understand he won an MVP, but come on. Jimmy Rollins a Hall of Famer? No, he's not. David Wright on the ballot. And I'm a Met fan. David Wright is not a Hall of Famer. Does he belong in the Mets Hall of Fame? Yes, because that's a team thing. But Cooperstown? No. No. Absolutely not. And even though Andy Pettitte and A-Rod, they got a lot of votes. And Pettitte, of course, his ties with Roger Clemens and him failing a test for HGH. Excuse me. And we know how great he was in the postseason. And you could argue whether or not he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, he did win over 250 games, which I guess winning 200 games now in Major League Baseball is the new 300. So is he deserving? I think he is, but he's going to get in now. You would think in the years to come, considering I think he got 46% of the vote. A-Rod actually got 40% of the vote, which is a 14% increase from last year. So who knows? He may get in eventually. But you know what? If he gets in, people may be outraged. But I'm more outraged for the guys that don't deserve to be in than the guys that cheated. And you know what? Their numbers at least back it up. And you can say, well, Jay Reels, come on. You can't have the numbers back up if he's doing steroids because it's enhancing his swing or enhancing him hitting the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, let's face it. A lot of these guys that were taking steroids, and I understand Bonds look like a house, but a lot of that had to do with recovery. And even A-Rod, if you watch that documentary, the Alex versus A-Rod, he even mentioned that the reason why he took steroids was because of the recovery. Playing in Texas, it was hot. It was 100 degrees every day. And there's no way that nutrition, hydration, etc., was going to cut it. So just because people take steroids, they think right away that, oh, he added so much muscle that's why he hit 10 more home runs than he did the year before. I mean, A-Rod was a monster. And he would have hit 600, what he hit, 696 home runs, even without the juice. But in his case, and I'm just going to use him for example, he only took it because it helped aid in his recovery. So, like I said, if you're going to start bringing the guys that were very good or just the good, then bring in the steroid guys. And case closed. And this is the only juice that I'm having. I mean, make it make sense. I mean, these writers are they're clueless. And I don't want to hear about war, and I don't want to hear about, I don't know, nonsense. Eye test. And Andrew Jones, like I said, was a very good baseball player. Very good. Was he dominant? He was an elite center fielder, that I give him. But obviously his offense, very good. Not great. Not elite. If I even start comparing the numbers, and I'll put it up on the screen if you want. You may not be able to see it but you give me Albert Bell's career offensively and Andrew Jones, I mean, you freaking say, no way. Give me Albert Bell. And you know what? The hell with it. I'm doing this right now. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Here I am obstructing the view here. Where's this plug? Here we go. Should have done this before. My apologies ahead of time. You got to see my elbow. And all right. Let's get that out the way. Screen is up. I mean, and the only reason why I bring up Albert Bell is because his numbers were just so gaudy and just, I mean, forget it. That you're going to say to yourself, wait a second, you know what? I'd rather take that guy. Here we go. Baseball Reference, the great Baseball Reference. Let's expand this. Hopefully you get to see this. Let me share this. Share screen. Yeah, we know. I appreciate everybody who's hopped on screen and joining. Share. You're going to see a lady's face here, but that's not what we want. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me make myself smaller. Can I pull myself out of the way? Oh, you know, hold on. I'm going to scroll up, down, up. All right. Maybe you can see that. Maybe not. I don't know if you can zoom in on this. This is Albert Bell's numbers. Look at all this black type. I mean, look at this. All right, games. A lot of people can play, 100 some odd games. And look, and mind you, he came in at 20. Forget about his first couple of years. 737, 1 and 3. This right here. I mean, do I even need to begin? And if you can't, I'm going to go from this year, from 92. 34, 112. All right, he batted 260. OPS was under 800. All right, fine. Mind you, 25 years of age. Now this is where it gets great. 93 runs scored, 38, 129, as you can see, led the league in RBIs, batted 290, slugging was 922. Following year, 94, and that, by the way, 93 was his first year as an All-Star. 90 runs scored, 36, 101, 357. He didn't even lead the league in batting. Look at his OPS. His OPS was 1,100. Total bases. And mind you, this is the strike year, 94. So just keep that in mind. What was he? MVP? Third. This is where he got robbed. Look at this year. 143 games. Remember that year was 144. 121 runs scored, led the league. 52 doubles, led the league. 50 homers, led the league. 126 RBIs, led the league. Batted 317. Slugging was 690. His OPS was almost 1,100. 377 total bases. Robbed of the MVP. I believe Mo Vaughn was 39, 126. May have batted 325, but still. 96. 124 runs scored. 48. What do you have? 38 doubles. 48, 148, 311, 410 on base. 1,000 slugging. Third in the MVP. The following year, and I went to Chicago, the White Sox. 45 doubles, 30 homers, 116 RBIs. All right, he batted 274. OPS was 823. All right, fine. Now look at this year. 98. 163 games. All right, fine. But 113 runs scored, 200 hits, 48 doubles, 49, 152, batted 328, 400 on base, 655 slugging, led in OPS. Look at these numbers. And in the following 2 years, 108 runs scored, 37, 117, 297, 400 on base, 941 OPS, and then 23, 103. And this was when he was 33, 281, 342. Can I bring up Craig Biggio's numbers now so we can laugh at this? And I got nothing against Craig Biggio. This has nothing to do with him. It's the baseball writers. And this is the one number that got him in the Hall of Fame right here. You see that in yellow? 30, 60, 3,060 hits. Look at these numbers. All right, he has black type, but look at what a black type is. Plate appearances and games played. All right, he led the league in runs twice. Led in doubles 4 times and stolen bases once. Here he was, like I said, in the top 10, 20 years, 88 to 2007. All right, and he played 50 games. All right, so if you want to go from 89. What did I say he was in the top 10? 3 times. 4th, 5th, and 10th. He was an all-star 8 times. I take that back. 7 times. And that was from 89, or let's say 91 to 98. After that, he did not make an all-star team. I mean, look at these numbers. 2164. This is a strike year. 656. 2277. 281 career batting average. The highest he ever batted in a year was 318, and that was the year of the strike, I might add. Look, 302, 309. Oh, I take that back. 325 he was one year. All right, 98, which was his best year batting average. 294, 268, 292, 253, 264, 281, 260. I mean, come on, guys. Look at these numbers. Come on. I mean, what are we talking? And he got hit by pitch. He got black type. I mean, seriously? All right, he led the league in that, but I mean, is he going to go to the Hall of Fame for? Oh, wow, he got hit by pitch. He's not Ron Hunt or Don Baylor. Look him up. I'm sure you guys know who Don Baylor is. Who's Ron Hunt? Played for the Mets also back in the 60s. But, I mean, it's a joke. And do I need to pull up, while we're at it, Andrew Jones? And then I'll get off this. But I couldn't believe this. And I knew it was happening yesterday where I spelled his name wrong. It's W. I knew that the Hall of Fame was going to come down, and the NFL Hall of Fame is in a couple weeks too, and you know I'm going to be all over that as well. Small guy room. Here his career numbers: 254 batting average, 1,933 hits. He didn't even have 2,000 hits. How can you be in the Hall of Fame without 2,000, with not having at least 2,000 hits? And that's another one. Chase Utley does not belong in the Hall of Fame. He has 1,800 career hits. How is he a Hall of Famer? 254. I mean, his OPS is 820. I mean, come on, seriously? Here's the one year I talked about, 51, 128. You know what his batting average was that year? 263. It wasn't even over 280. All right, his OPS was 922. A lot of that has to do with what you see here. Here's the other black type. At-bats, plate appearances, and games. That's it. And was the MVP, like I told you, top 10 twice. Second, the year where he hit 51, 128, and 8th. Now, come on, people. Can we get with it? Can we get with the program? And no knock on Andrew Jones. It's not. Again, it's not an insult to, and he is a Hall of Famer, so it's moot, but it's not an insult to call these guys Hall of Famers. That's why I got on the soapbox, and I got nothing personal against Draymond Green, but everybody, oh, he's a Hall of Famer. Oh, but he helped win 4 titles. Are you kidding? I understand he was part of the team, defense, whatever, but come on. Oh, he was the heart and soul. Just because you're heart and soul of the team doesn't mean you're a Hall of Famer. And I could put him up against all these other, and I talked about Dennis Rodman on Blue in the Face. That guy, he is not in the top 10 power forwards of all time. Not even close. I got a guy, and J-Rod would appreciate this. There's a guy, if you didn't watch Derek Coleman play basketball, I understand his head wasn't in the game a lot of the times, but if his head was in the game, he would be the second greatest power forward of all time behind Tim Duncan, because that guy had handle. That guy could shoot the 3. That guy could post you up. That guy could dunk on you, etc. Ask Shaq, who he got embarrassed by in his rookie year when he played against the Nets. Derek Coleman. He said, I couldn't defend this guy. That guy was on the fast track to the Hall of Fame, but of course, he was the type of guy where a bit of a louse, but he didn't have his head in the game all the time. And I look at him, that's a Hall of Fame talent. Where Draymond Green, listen, I understand. It's not an insult to call a guy that he's not a Hall of Famer. I know I just spent a half hour talking about this, but I mean, it just irks me. It really does. And that these writers, I mean, what are they seeing? I don't want to hear war. I don't want to hear defensive metrics. The gold gloves are the defensive metrics. When you win 10 gold gloves, you know what? Need you say more. I don't need run replacement or defensive. I don't need that. Gold gloves. Case closed. I tell you, I don't know. Maybe I'm the crazy one. All right, let's see what we got here. Comments. Val. Jimmy Butler, after that injury, Steph Curry seemed not engaged with it. I'm still shocked Warriors lost. Hey, listen. I don't know. And they said they're not going to trade Jimmy Butler, considering he has one more year left on his contract. Now, this whole thing with Jonathan Kuminga, I mean, that's a joke, too, how they treated him. And I'm not trying to make him out to be LeBron James, but for the Warriors now, they need Kuminga to be on the team, despite the fact that Kuminga has requested a trade. And I hope he stays put on that because they had to wait until January 15th because he signed that deal. And on the 15th, he said, I'm out. I don't want to be a part of this team anymore. So who knows? J-Rod, thank you. You're a big part of that. I appreciate you. You know that. I'm tired of the Scooble trade talk. Yeah, I know. And who knows what's going to happen with that. He's probably going to go to the Dodgers when it's all said and done. But yeah, the Tigers, they should try to unload him now. Pitchers and catchers 3 weeks from today. Think about that. Your shorts are cool. I watch them. Thank you, Val. You know, I appreciate that. Oh, you watched the short? Yeah, I was talking about earlier with that. Yeah, I know. Hey, stop disrespecting God of the universe. Who's disrespecting God? I know I wasn't. Justin Verlander is still with the Giants? No, I believe he's a free agent now, so anybody could sign him, but I don't know if he hasn't retired. Trying to think. He hasn't retired. Yeah, he's a free agent. Anybody could get him, but the thing is that he's, 42 years of age. Watch it on YouTube and the phone. That's how they Fishing Angel, I appreciate you guys. So look at that. On the phone and on TV. I can't get any more dedicated than that. Oh, here we go, Stinson. What do you got? Edgar Martinez made the haul. Yes, he did. And I could pull up his numbers. I mean, listen, he was dominant also. I get he was a DH. But listen, David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame. And David Ortiz obviously hit over 500 home runs and all that. But and I know, and Edgar Martinez, I got to be honest with you, he is borderline. Yeah, I'm pulling up his numbers now. Should I show it to you guys? Hold on. Oh, there we go. I was like, what happened? I tried to drag it over because I canceled it out before. All right, Edgar Martinez batted 312. I mean, that's you bat over 300. That's should be an automatic. Oh, he's got a zillion black type around. I mean, listen, come on. Look at these numbers. Led the league in runs once, doubles twice. I understand runs are important. Doubles, all right, led in RBIs one time. At 37 years of age, he had 145 RBIs. I mean, and he batted 324. At 37 years of age. Let's throw that in there. He's had 100 RBIs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. You like it at least to be 8. And consecutive helps. He hit 30 home runs the one time when he had 37, and he wasn't really a home run hitter. He was a hitting machine, though. Batting champ twice, 343, 356. Led an OPS 1 year, had an OPS of over 1,000 5 times. I mean, the guy's a dominant hitter. He's a Hall of Famer. And let's see, MVP, never had one, but he was, get this out of here, top 10 twice. Top 5 once. But when you have black type by your name, sorry, and a lot of it. I'm not just talking, 3 or 4 spots. He's had black type in the categories that count. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 black type is good. But if I start bringing up like Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb, I mean, they have like 40 black type, which is, I mean, that's why those guys are immortal. But, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. So, yes, Stinson, he did. I got to give it up. Thank you, Val. Much appreciated. I feel like I got to pass you this joint I'm smoking. Oh, me? What, so I could calm down? Hole in the sock. What's happening? Forget about it. Oh, no. What's that? No, of course. I know you're joking. I know you're joking, Jay. Do you think Jimmy Butler injury and Warriors will be bad moving forward? Well, he's not going to come back until probably for a year. And it'll be in the last year. He's making $56 million next year. And that's why they talk about him trading, because he's would be an expiring contract. And yeah, that's a tough break. I mean, you don't want to see a guy like Jimmy Butler go down. But Rose, Clemens, Bond should be in the Hall. Well, Rose is eventually going to get in the Hall of Fame, but he's got to wait 2 years, which is stupid. I mean, that's another. I got on that soapbox a while ago. Let's be real. You're not getting 3,000 hits in 30 seasons in the Major League Baseball. What do you mean? If somebody played 30 seasons today? Oh, yeah. Nobody's getting three. Listen, who's active right now that could get 3,000 hits? I don't know. I'm not in baseball mode as far as like day-to-day with players. Is Bryce Harper going to get 3,000 hits? Probably not. Manny Machado? Probably not. Mike Trout, probably not. But the thing is that if you get to 2,500, I think now 2,500 is almost a new 3,000. I hate to say it. So we'll have to see. Celebrating the always entertaining Mike Krukow on his birthday. Yes. Mike Krukow pitched for the Cubs and the Giants. Had that crazy knuckle curve. Always killed the Mets, too. Always pitched well against them. I have the biggest crush on this man. Hunters. Wait a minute. You're from Boston, right? Hold on a second. Yeah, I know that name. I don't know what to say there, Hunters. Thank you. I appreciate you. Toppers. I have to say right now, I mean, it's easy for me to say no, but baseball's half-stepping, man. Rob Manfred, considering what's happened here over the last week with the Dodgers getting Kyle Tucker and the Mets signing Bo Bichette, you would think that they would at least have some discussions. And maybe there are, but we just haven't heard. But it would be nice to know from the commissioner of baseball to say, we have started discussions. They're moving along very slowly, but at least the open line of communication has begun. We haven't heard that. And based on last year when he bounced around various clubhouses, and I'm sure you heard the report about he and Bryce Harper, how Harper told him to get the F out of the room based on those two dreaded words that the players do not want to hear, is salary cap. And I mean, right now, listen, if I had to say, I'm going to say the start of the baseball season will be delayed. Because if the owners aren't going to stand up here, and remember, as we all know, Rob Manfred works for the owners, there has to be a vast majority. And not even just the small market teams, the Colorados, the Miamis, the Pittsburghs, the Kansas Cities. I understand Kansas City signed Bobby Witt, a big deal, but those teams got to say, we've had enough. Let's start to implement a salary cap, because a floor and a ceiling, we need both. So the Marlins can't just spend $70 million and reap the revenue sharing from the clubs that spend money, because there needs to be a shift. So I'm going to say, Toppers, I think there's going to be a delay. Nance, hello to you too. That's family, people. So, Hunters, I appreciate you. Thank you very much for that. It's very kind of you to say. Thank you, thank you. I need a shave, though. I know I sound vain. My apologies. That's not me, but I want to look a little bit presentable. And that's because of my stepmother, who told me, it's like, you should look a little bit more presentable. Don't let your hair get crazy. That's when my hair was a little bit longer. And your face looks like, I've been sitting on the couch for the last God knows how long. Have a wonderful book. Brandon Crawford, huh? Yes, Brandon Crawford. Today's his birthday. And did he retire? I think he did last year. Toppers. Big Papi saying that he did roids. He'll say he didn't, and because he wasn't on that list, but yes. Oh, no. I think he was on that Mitchell report, but because he said he never failed a test means that he never taken steroids, which, dicey, but I definitely hear you. Babe Ruth is the top Hall of Fame in baseball. I don't think any baseball player ever. Oh, geez. And I don't know if Bio's in the room. That's why it's comical. And despite the fact that Shohei Ohtani is great, but we're talking Babe Ruth. Do I even need to bring up the numbers for Babe Ruth? You know what? The hell with it. We're going to do this. And Nancy, if you have anything else to say that's not sports related, you can. I'll give you the permission to do so. But let's see. Babe Ruth. Otherwise known as George Herman Ruth. I mean, look at these numbers. You want to see black type people? I said he had 40. I got to take that back. And I understand he pitched in an era where he out-homered teams, okay, and saved baseball. I get it. But I wish I could even highlight this. You ready for this, people? When people think, and if you're in the room, we could argue this. When people say that Shohei Ohtani is better than Babe Ruth, look at this. And this is WAR. I won't even count the WAR. Because I'm not a WAR guy. I don't like that stat. I mean, listen, I understand it's part of the game, whatever. I guess maybe I should count it, but I won't even count that. Look at the black type. He led the league in runs once, twice, and the black type means that he led the league. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Led in home runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times. RBIs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And look, another 165, 146, 154, 153, 162. Those are his RBIs. Led the league in walks 1,000,000 times here. Look, he led the league in striking out. Look at this one year. 58 times. If you struck out 100 times back then, you were a bad player. Led the league in batting once, 378. But look, he hit 393 one year. What? Look at the on base. 456, 532, 512, 545. All this is black type, people. All this. You think Shohei Ohtani's got all that black type? Probably close, I would say. But come on. Come on. I mean, Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player ever. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or maybes about it. I mean, come on. Need I say more? Well, let me stop sharing this. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Val. The Chargers plan to hire Mike McDaniel. They already did. I love Val is like my go-to source guy here. Today, I'll 450 stretching classes. I actually stretched this morning. Wow, 450 stretching class. That's great, man. That's great. And look at this. What is this? Wow, I'm seeing this 19. Oh, I just hit 20 people here on the live. Thanks to you guys. I appreciate, and gals. Thank you. And it went to 16. It's like the stock market. It's going up and down. But way to go, Val. 450 stretching classes. Lord knows I've stretched a lot more recently. And I say recently, maybe in the last few months. But the first thing I try to do when I get up in the morning is stretch. I feel better. I get my day started. And I implore you guys and gals to do the same thing too. I mean that. So good for you, Val. I wish I could do 450 stretching classes. That's over how many years? Do you stretch every day? I'm curious, Val. I need to know this. On this day, Robert Kraft purchased the Patriots. I would love to know how much he purchased it for, because right now that team's got to be worth about at $6 to $8 billion, which is crazy. Poppy said, yeah, no, he's in the Hall of Fame, and his numbers are dominant. I mean, I see Victor in the room. I'll get you, Victor. 1 year ago today, Ben Johnson. Yes. Very good, Val. Victor, what is happening? Yes, sir. If Pete Rose's not in the Hall of Fame, then nobody should be in. Yeah. Well, he's going to get in, but it's so stupid. They got to wait 2 years, and the committee's going to have to choose. What? No committee. Again, can I see Pete Rose's numbers? Black type. I think he led the league and hit 7 times. Pete Rose. I know. I haven't even touched on the NFL yet. Here it is. It's mostly talking baseball here, which is fine. Pete Rose. I know he's got a lot of batting appearances, of course, or batting. He led the league in hitting. Actually, led the league in batting 3 times. I didn't realize that. Led in OPS twice. Led in hits once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, like I mentioned. Runs 4 times. Actually, 5 times. No, hold on. Wait, that's hits, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. I mean, that's hits. I mean, the guy, listen, Pete Rose Hall of Fame. I mean, batted 303, winning player. What more can I tell you? All right, let's see. Draymond is bad. What is this? He's getting his most solve. He's not a Hall of Famer. All right, Val, you agree. Yeah, that's Draymond. Draymond's all going to be that. Hey, all Def Lep, stay in the D. I got some other people that are from Detroit, too, that are in the room. 2 others. Or Michigan, I should say, outside of Detroit. So is Kenny Rogers. The singer or the baseball player? Zip. Yeah, Mackie Sasser Hall of Fame chat. How many people know who Mackie Sasser is? The catcher that lobbed the ball to where people were stealing bases on him left and right. Ugh. Welcome, Zip. Good to see you. John the Kaminga. Yeah, he had a good game yesterday. He did. He's the only sports podcaster that knows sports. Fishing Angel. Thank you. Very kind. Very kind. I appreciate that. Kaminga played some minutes yesterday. Steve Kerr didn't want to use him. Of course, because he wants to be traded. Yeah, I know. It's a mess. You said you could get 3,000 hits in 20 seasons. I'm saying you're not getting 3,000 hits in 30 seasons. Oh, yeah. Oh, I got you, Jay. In 30 seasons. I mean, imagine if there's a baseball player that played 30 years. Orange, the Pokemon trainer. Most likely done. I know. And they're at the bottom of the – where are they? Are they now – what are they, 10th? Let me see where they're at in the standings. NBA standings. The Warriors are 8th in the Western Conference. Oh, yeah, no, they're well ahead of the Clippers. Now, they're going to make the playoffs, but, yeah, I don't know how good they're going to be. Bio, my man, I don't know if you heard me talk about let me see, what time was it? 12:38. Yo, so you did hear my Babe Ruth Shohei Ohtani, I'm sure. Oh, Freddie Freeman, excellent. He's going to have to get 500, do the math, 569, 3 years. He could do that in 3 years. Yeah, he's a guy. He's probably going to get 3,000. And he's a Hall of Famer, too. I mean, come on. I miss you too, Nance. We got to talk. It's been a while. Yeah, I like all your posts. I like the one you were talking about just feeling good about yourself. And God's on your side. And you actually look really good there. That's my cousin, people, if you're wondering who Nancy Navarro is. All right, Orange, what you got? Baseball fell off a while ago. Dude, that sport doesn't even have a salary cap. Not worth watching. I hear you. I hear you when you say that. And that's the problem. It's funny you say that. Orange, a Pokemon trainer, for this reason. If they don't come with a salary cap, with the CBA expiring this coming December, unless you're a dying-wool like I am, because baseball is my first love, baseball is going to go out to sea by the time we get to 2050. And I hope I'm around and alive to see that. And it's sad. Very sad. That's basically you putting Giannis and Steph Curry on the same team, and on the bench you have Wembanyama, SGA. Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I got news for you. I wonder what the Titans saw in Robert Saleh to be their head coach. You know the Jets were a disaster. Oh, there she goes. She hears somebody outside the door. Yep, they're bringing next door. It's probably Amazon. Kids, please. I wonder what they saw in Saleh, because he's a defensive guy. I don't know who the coordinator is. And not just drinking water. I don't know who the coordinator is. And it's a thing where, is he really going to be a good fit? Did he learn from his first go-around with the Jets? I'm curious. In Babe's day, baseball was a different game. We dominated in the Oh, no, without question. 1,000%. Hotani? Uh-oh. There's nowhere near Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth didn't need pitching staff to ball him out or bail him out. Oh, wait. Now, are you knocking Ohtani's pitching because of Game 7 last year? And he was on 3 days rest, too, so I'll give him that. Bo Bichette. No, listen, there's a lot to love about Ohtani. And I know that bio, and he's a huge Dodger fan. But when you just look at those numbers with Babe Ruth, I mean, and listen, Ohtani's got black type. And his career's still going. And he's won 4 MVPs. I mean, come on. I mean, Ohtani is a dominant baseball player. And I got news for you. If Ohtani said, that's it, I quit, I retire, he's a Hall of Famer. Jay Rios, how could you say that? He's only played 8 or 9 years, however long it's been. Relax. He's only played 8 or 9 years, blah, blah, blah. No, he's played more than that. I think he's since 2015 maybe? I should know this. Hold on. I just had a page up here. Ohtani. What was his first year? 2018. That's right, because he won Rookie of the Year from Miguel Andujar and why was I thinking 2015? So you could say, well, Jay Rios, he's only played 8 years. 8 years, but the guy is, I mean, look at the black type. 4 MVPs. And put it this way. He, in the last 5 years that Ohtani has played, last 5, 4 MVPs, and the other year he was second behind Aaron Judge. So he actually could have won 5 straight MVPs. And he's won 3 in a row. And listen, Ohtani's numbers, but even then, and I look at his OPS slugging and on base, I just showed you Babe Ruth. It was nothing but black type. Same for Ohtani. Funny he didn't lead an on base this year. Excuse me. And look, he didn't even lead in home runs or RBIs. Schwarber had that. And he's only led in home runs and RBIs once, which is the year in 2024 when he had that. But, I mean, yeah, he's a Hall of Fame. If he and roller skates, he's in the Hall of Fame if he's retired today. But, no, I feel you, Orange. And I know his pitching. What's this? Babe Ruth didn't. Hold on. Babe Ruth didn't need ability down bullpen. Ohtani not even the best player on his team. Ohtani's not the best player on his team? Nah, he's the best player on the Dodgers. Not Mookie Betts. It's not Freddie Freeman. Ohtani is the Dodgers' best player right now. And I'm saying that being objective. Not a Dodger fan. And I know Bio's probably got a thing or two to say about that. I'll scroll down in a minute, but I'm curious, Orange, what fan are you? Baseball fan. Or the team you root for? Lions pissed me off. What a trash hire for. Oh, yeah, I know. That hire, I was not. Who's the let me see who that guy was. No, I didn't want to do that. Hold on. Lions new OC. Yeah, I never heard of the guy. Dan something or other. New OC. Oh, Drew Petzing. Yeah, and they got him from. Hold on. What are you doing? Maybe he knows. Oh, it was in Ben Johnson's wedding. So that's what got him the job in Detroit, excuse me. Well, let's see how he does. I guess he's friends with him, so maybe it was a recommendation. Who knows? But, yeah, Bill's owner, I know. Coaches pushed to draft Coleman as opposed to, whatchamacallit, the GM. Come on. That's nonsense. All right, where am I here? Let's see. J-Rod. Way too early. Top 25 for Michigan 8th. I don't know how I feel about that. Michigan 8th. Oh, my God. Look who's there. Rick. Yo. Well, my birthday isn't until March. This guy right here, I go way back with 41 years. Yo, Rick, I appreciate you stopping by. I'm sure maybe you jumped out of the room. But, yo, much love to you. Much love to your woman. And as a matter of fact, J-Rod, He lives in Michigan. I think he lives in Grand Rapids. I know, and I got to go visit him too. I mean, geez. But anyway, let me see. Going back to Michigan. Michigan 8th. I don't know how I feel about that. Why? Do you believe it should be higher? It's probably because of the new coach, what he's going to implement there, if they feel like they should be higher. Why do I feel like I got something stuck here? Jeez. But, yeah. Oh, here we go. Babe Ruth wasn't facing 100-mile-an-hour pitches. Yeah, and he was in the dead ball era, too, on top of that. And bigger ballparks, too. You're right about that, Bio, 1,000%, but I know, in this day and age, I mean, all the ballparks are bandbox, but Babe Ruth had way bigger strikes, so no debate. Yeah, I can say that. Yep. Put you out there hitting in your power scooter. Babe Ruth's the greatest, yes. All right, here we go. I stretch when I'm done with my runs, Peloton. All right. So you stretch every day then, which is great. I like that. How many World Series MVPs? Ohtani? Well, he's only been in 2 World Series, and Yamamoto bailed him out. Well, I would say bailed him out. Yamamoto deserved the MVP there. And then the year before that, he had that shoulder injury, which he didn't hit in the World Series against the Yankees. So, Jeremy, yes, sir. Welcome aboard. I appreciate you. It's a very good day. Sometimes I do stretching activities on my yoga mat. All right. Bio, J-Rod, seems. You know who I got in that one, Bio. Yes, Rams. Dustin Pedroia should make it to the Hall of Fame. Off the top of my head, I know he won an MVP, 08. Jeremy, I don't know about that. And you can always won World Series. Well, I get it, but no, I don't know. 299 lifetime hitter. All right. In the MVP year, he has black type. Hits, doubles, runs scored. Led in runs twice. 4-time All-Star. Only 2 times he was MVP in the top 10 twice, when he was 7th in 2013 and 9th in 2011. And I think in 2013, that's when Jacoby Ellsbury was 2nd. Ellsbury had that monster year, and I remember he went to the Yankees and signed one of the worst contracts ever, and they forget about it. It never lived up to it. Pedroia is not a Hall of Famer, though. When you look at his numbers, I understand he played second base and second baseman, but in this day and age, second baseman, you expect more power. 140 homers, 725 RBIs, 805 OPS. I mean, 800 is good. 900 is great, and 1,000 is, forget it, otherworldly. Nah, he falls short. He's not a Hall of Famer. Not in my eyes. Seahawks Pat Super Bowl. I know I got to get to the football. I haven't even started talking about that. Warriors struggled scoring free throws and hitting field goals yesterday. That's how Raptors. I know Raptors scored 145 points in that game. I know. You're right, Bio. I was barking up a storm here. The best place, how many more he's the MVP, not him. Well, he's MVP of the World Series. I don't know if he's MVP of the league. Orange. And again, Orange, wait, I got to scroll down. Who's your favorite team? Oh, the Cardinals. Oh, St. Louis. Oh, all right. How do you feel about your team? I'm curious, considering they traded away Arenado, Wilson Contreras, and they rebuilt. I'm sure you're sick of John Mozeliak, your GM, and I would think maybe your manager, Oliver Marmol. But I like it, you're a Cardinal fan. And I'm curious where you're from, too. Are you from St. Louis, Missouri, the area? Let's see. Where's Minnesota Fats? I'm surprised he's not chiming in on the baseball stuff. What did Robert Saleh see in Titans? Wish he stayed. I don't know. Well, it's really what the Titans saw in him. You're right about that, Bio. You're 100%. Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that. Cardinals. Uh-oh. Tomlin to the Bills as head coach. I think he says he wants to take a year off, though. And I don't know if he wants to follow McDermott because, remember, he and McDermott, Sean McDermott, they were college teammates at William and Mary. So I don't know. Even if the Bills came knocking and say, hey, we want you to be a coach of the team, you'd probably say, nah, I'm not going to follow in the footsteps of a guy who I played in college. No, absolutely. Kennesaw Mountain Landis, Cap Anson, going down the list. You feel that too high. Yeah, it may be. Uh-oh, look at this. Just as speak of the devil. At 1 o'clock, I'm sure you're going to watch that. That's literally right now. I mean, David Stearns, what is he going to say? To me, I have the question for David Stern more so than Bo Bichette. Because, and I'm going to get to the Met trade too. I haven't even talked about that. After 2025, I have no trust in Bryce Dunn. Yeah, no, absolutely. I hear that. T-Mac won. Rise had both offense and defense. First Panther to ever do it. Oh, is that right? Wait a second. Hold on a second. First Panther to ever do it. Wait, what year was that? When you're saying offense, yeah, he didn't. Wait, hold on a second. Oh, I understand. Because you said offense and defense. I'm thinking, wait a minute. T-Mac didn't play defense from what I recall, but no, now I get what you're saying. That's why when I read that at first, I'm thinking to myself, wait a second. And I can't even pronounce his first name. I know, I'm terrible with names too. But we'll just call him T-Mac. That's T. McMillan, who actually had a great year. But, yeah, I thought he played offense and defense. I said, wait a second, what am I missing here? I'm literally cooking up. All right, Orange, that's good. Getting started. That's BP. Yeah, it's BP for Ruth. Oh, here we go, back and forth. Proved my point. Man got carried to 2 rings. Babe Ruth can never. I mean, the teams were loaded. Yeah, listen. Ohtani, and obviously he had that epic game 3 where he got on base 9 times. I understand they intensely walked him in extra innings. But, no, listen, Ohtani, it's hard to knock him. It really is. I mean, I understand. In bio, he and I got back and forth, and I said, you know what, hey, he's the closest thing to Babe Ruth. That's like saying that Kobe Bryant is better than Michael Jordan. And I'm sure bio could even attest. Now, he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan that we've seen. Just like Ohtani's the closest thing to Babe Ruth. But that's my point. Oh, is he really, Jeremy? Hold on. Where's my mouse? Yeah, let me look at that. Let's see. That is MLB Hall of Fame voting. Here we go. Yeah, I know Petty, I think I saw 46. And A-Rod, I think got 40%. No, I take that back. Andy Petty got 48%. Felix Hernandez, who I loved, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Manny Ramirez is 10th and final time. Now look at the names on this list. Torrey Hunter. Bobby Abreu. Cole Hamels. Yeah, Pedroia got 20%. He still has a way to go, though. Second year on the ballot. Cole Hamels was first on the ballot. He got 23% of the vote. Why? Cole Hamels, to me, he's a, what'll call it? Who do I compare Cole Hamels to in Major League Baseball? Oh, Max Fried. He's a poor man's Cole Hamels. Oh, look at these numbers. No way. And Cole Hamels, I understand he was a World Series MVP, NLCS MVP. He led in whip one time. He's got one black type by his name. 4-time All-Star. Oh, my God. Look at these numbers. He threw a no-hitter. I get that, too. Look at these numbers. Are these Hall of Fame numbers, people? And he's had good years, and I understand he's a good left-handed pitcher. But come on. This is laughable, how he got 23% of the vote. He was a rookie in 06. Here are his numbers. You ready? And I'll even take, the second year he was very good. 9-8, 15-5. Now this is where it becomes laughable. 14-10, 10-11, 12-11, 14-9, 17-6. All right, I'll give him that. Then 8-14, 9-9, where he split with two teams. Because then he went to Texas. He was, hold on a second. No, he was 9-9 that one year. Then he was 13-8, where he was 6-7 with the Phillies, 7-1 with Texas. Then 15-5, 11-6. And I mean, come on. This guy's not a Hall of Famer, please. He was elite in the field, too, though hard to measure. No, he was a good second baseman, but I don't know, man. I cannot. How many Gold Gloves did Pedroia? 4 Gold Gloves. Traded away Sonny Gray. Yeah, the Cardinals. Yeah, I'm a small room guy, Jeremy. That's the thing. I'm a small room guy when it comes to MVPs. When it comes to Hall of Famers. My team is always good. We don't buy championships either. No doubt. Now, you guys are falling on hard times because after the Goldschmidt, Arenado, when Yachty retired, yeah, I mean, you guys, I mean, now I couldn't even tell you. I'm actually surprised that, yeah, you're pitching, Miles Mikolas and I don't know. I'm sure you got to be frustrated, though. The Mimi lose? Oh, you mean Miami? Jesus, welcome. That'd be a terrible move by the Bills. What, bringing in Tomlin? I don't know about terrible, but yeah. Offensive coordinator for the Packers. Didn't they? Yeah, I know the GM. The GM of the Packers then went to Miami and he plucked. I don't even know. Did they even hire an offensive coordinator yet? And let me tell you something. I don't know how LaFleur has a job. I'm sorry. Adam Stenovich. Oh, he's an offensive line run game coordinator. He may get promoted to. Yeah, it's not official. Yeah, and the guy that the Dolphins hired was Jeff Hafley. Oh, that. Yeah. But yeah, how to me. Yeah, and I'm sorry. How the Packers re-signed him is beyond me. LaFleur, did you see that the next to last offensive drive where he's trying to go for the end zone and he stops the clock? Oh, God. And that's not the only. He's had other bugaboos that I have with him. Great, and it's for sure. Oh, no. I know you're a great sports fan. You know. And obviously, this isn't a pound Otani because I would never do that. But since Babe Ruth was brought up earlier by Fishing Angel, I had to just, and I'm looking at numbers and Hall of Fame. I think Michigan's new coach will help a lot. Michigan players believe Bryce Hunter will help. They're good. Yeah, well, no, I mean, I could see that. Second year. What is this? Melodramatic? Oh, that's all right. Val, Niners still looking for defensive coordinator after Saleh. Yes, they are. How do the Packers manage to sell every year? Sell as in what? Sell players? How do the Packers manage to sell every year? I mean, listen, they got destroyed by the injury to Micah Parsons. I don't gamble on sports really, but I may put some money on Bryce Underwood winning his Heisman Trophy. Oh, okay. Well, I wonder what the odds are. He will, I bet you. Hey, I like it. Optimism. He didn't do and besides that, what he did do with the Angels, nothing, man. Needs a super team. Stay mad. Oh, listen. I don't think he needs a super team. I mean, it helps that he's on the Dodgers, but he chose the Dodgers. He's a free agent. What do you expect? You can't be mad at him for that. Bryce Underwood is young, knows football, but with the new Michigan coach, I think this is going to be the best. Listen, obviously, the other half thinks that they rank too high. And again, it's January. We're not into August just yet, but I'd be curious. I saw a picture of Mike Thomas supporting his daughter at a gymnastics at John Smith. Yes, I did see that. Moments of price. He should take time off. Yeah, no, that's exactly what he's doing. And good for him, 100%. What is this? Who will be the new Packer offensive coordinator? I don't even know. I was trying to look that up. Oh, did I just say that before? Yeah, this Adam, whomever it was. Where is it? Matt LaFleur. No, didn't I just have this a second ago? Oh, I guess I didn't. They may go in-house. I don't even know who it is just yet. Jesus. Oh, what is this? Man who needs to. Hi, Jay. I used to be. Yes. Way to go there. Man who needs cookies. 8 home games, 4 road games, 2026, only road game. Worth anything, Ohio State. Hey, 10-2 will get them into the playoff. That's for sure. And that is the odd couple. Absolutely. Bio agrees with me on. Yep. Agree. Jim and Mike working out. Yeah, that could be a pretty quirky, Oh, you don't think he's Hall of Famer either? Oh, is that because of 2017? I agree with you there, big time. That's all I've been talking about. I mean, like he choked. Listen, Game 7, he was on 3 days rest. I'm not going to kill him for that. Now, I'm not being an apologist for Ohtani. I'm just being objectively honest. And I understand after that Game 3, he didn't really do much the rest of the series. But listen, he still gets a ton of respect in my book. Kittle going to be interesting when he returns back to NFL. Yes. But the thing is, he blew out his Achilles, so he may not even be back next year. Val, we'll have to wait. Always comes showing the players even when they're about to win. Yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the quarterback. I agree. Bio. Yeah, a lot has to do with the quarterback because when I think of Jordan Love this year, even last year, the year before that, they won in Dallas and then goes to San Francisco and he had a horrible fourth quarter. Giants didn't make – no, I haven't really done anything. Wow, really? That was fast. Press conference over. Jeez. What in the hell happened there? Well, I guess maybe they decided not to ask questions. I don't know. Red Wings want to definitely see Detroit going to Stanley Cup. Yeah, and having a big year too. I think Tampa overtook them in the division, no? Let me see. NHL. Yeah, they won last night. All right. I'll get back to your comments. All right, J-Rod, I'll get yours in here. Packers are in trouble. Michael's not coming back to me minutes in. Yeah, I can see that. And listen, what were they? 9-3-1. They lost the last 5 games. Ooh, that's rough. All right. Let me go to the next thing. And this will be quick. I know it's still baseball. This is for you, Minnesota Fats. The one thing I don't want to say I don't like about this trade because he does have tremendous upside. He's 28 years old, fast, has power. He's regressed a bit. I understand he's had some injuries the last couple of years. But think about this if you're a Met fan. the two guys that you got in the Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander trades, which is Luis Angel Acuna and Drew Gilbert, respectively, who, by the way, was projected to be a center fielder. So the Mets had to unload those contracts, pay whatever it was to those teams in order for them to get back a very good prospect in the aforementioned. And now they're no longer in the organization. Drew Gilbert got traded last year for Tyler Rogers, who now I believe is in Toronto, and now Acuna's gone. But let's see. Hopefully, Robert is a guy that'll step in. There's your center fielder. Fantastic. And away we go. And I'm going to make this prediction right here. And I understand always pound them. Well, I can't say always pound them, but whenever I get a chance to jump on them, I do. And usually I save that for the end of the year. But I think, and I don't have any intel, I think the Yankees are going to sign Cody Bellinger. And here's why. He wants a 7-year contract, which he's not going to get, number one. Just read the tea leaves of this offseason. Pete Alonso, 5 years. Alex Bregman, 5 years. Kyle Schwarber, 5 years. Bo Bichette, 3 years. I'm thinking of his dad. Just those 4 guys alone. And I understand long in the tooth, but JT Realmuto, he's 35, 3 years with the Phillies. These guys are not getting anything more than 5 years. So unless he goes back to the Yankees and takes a 5-year deal, which I don't think that's going to be the case. I think what's going to happen here is Bellinger will probably sign on the dotted line for maybe a big year, whatever. Let it be $33 million. And he could opt out and test the waters, and we all know about the CBA at that time. So the market will come back to them to the point where I think they have a chance to re-sign him. Now, as I say that, watch him go to, I don't know, Houston or something. So we shall see. That's a baseball. All right, let me get to these couple of things here real quick. These storylines for divisional playoff. Obviously, the biggest one of all is Jarrett Stidham. How is he going to perform? We would think that Sean Payton is going to draw up a game plan strictly for him, not try to do too much, be that game manager, make safe throws, and rely on his defense. But Stidham is going to be a big player here because if he does have a good game and let's say they do advance, then forget about it. He's going to be front and center in the Super Bowl on a stage that he has never seen and never even been to throughout his career. And to think he's going to be playing in the game on top of that. So if I'm a Bronco fan, listen, of course I'd be nervous, but the old saying, it is what it is. Number 2, the best game of the weekend, and by far, to me, it's the Super Bowl before the Super Bowl, Rams-Seahawks. And no Zach Charbonnet, the running back, who I believe tore an ACL. So you'll just see Kenneth Walker, which will certainly help the Rams and their defense. But to me, it's not about the Rams. We've seen them gut out these 2 wins on the road the way they have. And the weather, I believe, is supposed to be mid-40s, probably going to rain. It's typical Seattle weather. But how I look at it is with these 2 teams and with Seattle scoring 41 points and maybe should have saved some of those points for this weekend, I think the Rams are going to be in the game. And it's dangerous for them to know that this is an opponent that A, doesn't scare them, B, that is, for the most part, relatively healthy, and they could go up and down the field on them. Now, the Rams do not have, although they have very talented players, but they do not have the defense that the Seahawks have. But that's okay. But we all know that they have number 9 at quarterback. And Sam Darnold is still a question mark, where the jury's out on whether or not he's going to deliver a big playoff performance. So, those are, to me, are the major storylines. But then here's the funny thing. As you know, I love to talk about this from time to time. I need more juice. Which matchup does the NFL want to see? And it's going to go in this order. They want Pats, Rams first, then Pats, Seahawks, followed by, should I say that? Should I? Yeah, I'll say followed by Broncos, Patriots. Excuse me. Followed by Broncos, Rams, and Broncos, Seahawks. And to think, 3 of those 4 will actually be rematches. Seattle, Denver, Super Bowl 48. 43-8 was the final, a bore of a game. Super Bowl, what was that? 53. Rams, Patriots, and also 36. Wait, no. Was that 37, 38? One of those. I think it was 37. But I understand they were in St. Louis. And then you have the Rams, Broncos, which obviously is not a rematch. So 3 of the 4 games, you may have a rematch. Make sure I got that correct. Pats, Rams, Pats, Seahawks. Oh, Pats, Seahawks is the other one. Did I screw that up? I think I screwed that up. Pats, Seahawks. Yes, that's right. So I think the better game is Rams and Patriots, followed by Seahawks, Patriots, then Rams, Broncos, Seahawks, Broncos. I think I screwed that up. So my apologies. Got to own up to that. Rams, Patriots by far would be fantastic. You can't have Denver in the game, not with the backup quarterback. I'm sorry. I don't care if he throws for 250 yards, gets 3 touchdowns. To me, I got to see it again. So that's what I'm looking at as far as the best matchup. And the NFL would want that first one. If they have Seahawks, Broncos, that'll be brutal. And if it's Seahawks, Pats, they'll live with it. And it's still going to get a zillion people to watch. It's not like they're going to get 50 million if it's Seahawks, Broncos. But, yeah, I mean, that's what I think that they would look at as far as Super Bowl matchups. All right, here we go. What do we got? Orange. I do not trust the Mets. They still look mid. Yeah, because of their pitching. That's all it is. Their pitching staff. So I have to somewhat agree with you on that. They will somehow find a way to not make the playoffs again. Oh, God, geez. If they do, then if they do not make the playoffs, listen to the Mets. I mean, I would not be shocked. Although I was outraged last year in the games on their final game. Purdy struggled in the playoffs, especially in the Seahawks game. Well, listen, they were playing from in front pretty much since the opening kick. So, therefore, their defense was going downhill, and they did whatever they could with that Niner offense. Valley finally got battle tested. Eagles offense was trash. Yeah, Eagle offense has been that. I agree. I knew it. What'd I tell you, people? Minnesota with the late breaking news here. Let's hold on. Let me go to MLB. No, not trade rumors. Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be the case. And especially yeah, it's not even here. It's not on MLB just yet. Oh, here it is. Oh, it took him a while. Cody Bellinger's re-signed. What's the deal? That's what I want to know. 5-year. Oh. Well, he got 5 years. And you know what? I mean, the Yankees had to do that. And I think Bellinger realized that he wasn't going to get 7 years, like I said. So if you do the math, 5 for 162, that is what? 30. Yeah, 33 million, maybe 32.5 million. Do the math somewhere around there. Thank you, Minnesota, for that. I had a feeling. And to me, I think a lot of that had to do with not just him coming back to the market, but I even think maybe the Mets, that influence there where it's like, wow, not only they get Bo Bichette, they also add Luis Robert. And now we got to do something. So, no, good for them. Because I got news for you. If Belgium would have went elsewhere, forget it. Seahawks defense is miles. Oh, without question. That I totally agree with you. Nobody wants Rams Pats again, and that one Super Bowl should have been Saints Pats. Oh, yeah, I understand the pass interference. That's why I lost. Carmen got him back. Yeah, that Super Bowl was a bore, too. 13-3. I mean, defensive game. Wade Phillips had a great defensive, what's-it-call-it. But, all right, nobody wants Rams Pats. So what would you rather see? Don't tell me Seahawks-Broncos, Orange. That game would be, oh, geez, that game would put me to sleep. Even Seahawks Pats would be a little bit better. I say Rams Pats only because you're going to have the MVP is going to be in the game. I think they'd rather see that than Seahawks Pats. That's just my opinion. The Broncos cannot be in the game. Cannot. Scott Boras tried to get the Mets and Yanks. Yeah, thankfully. And, I wouldn't have minded him if he was on the Mets. Yep, foul. Oh, I see my guy, Jai. Bellinger's deal with the Yankees is 5-162. Yes, very good. There are opt-outs after the second and third season. 20 million sign bonus, full no trade. All right. I didn't need him. My guy, Jai. Welcome aboard. Welcome back, I should say. 49ers are Shanachok Super Bowl when it was closed. Yeah, listen. The team is long in the tooth. Let me think about this. And listen, I understand Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. No offense to Val, who I know is a big Niner fan here in the room. But, and listen, this year notwithstanding, they had too many injuries. That I'll give it up, but I'm sorry. Shanahan, I think, is a little overrated as coach. Let me see what his career record is. Let's have some fun with this. Kyle Shanahan, hold on, career record. And we know what he's done in Super Bowls. I mean, seriously. And not only that, but even as coordinator. 82-67 and 91-72 combined because he's 9-5 in the playoffs. No, he's a good coach, but I think he's a little overrated. I'm sorry. So I'm with you on that, Jai. They wouldn't have closed? Maybe. Listen, Brandon Ayuk didn't come back. Trent Williams, I understand, still great, but he's not getting any younger. Kittle's gone next year. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, they'll be back. But, yeah. Yeah, Belgium did want a 7-year. Yeah, exactly. Nah, and nobody was getting 7 years this offseason, so that's why he had to capitulate. Yep, 5-162. Thank you, Bio. Should have been Chiefs Saints. Oh, yeah, that's right. I know, the offsides. Could you imagine that, a Chief Saint Super Bowl back then? And listen, Drew Brees against Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, we'll never know. Seahawks Patriots. Jai, what do you think? You think Rams Patriots is a better Super Bowl or Seahawks Patriots? Yeah, no, you have the rematch there. Absolutely. Get the Rams away. Oh, so you did say see it right. And Jai's not a big fan of Matthew Stafford. That I know. And that we can get back because I got a guy in the room, Jai, Bio Zio. He's from LA. He's a great sports fan. But, yeah. He is not a fan of Stafford. I like Stafford. Listen, Stafford's going to go to the Hall of Fame. Uh-oh. Pro folk, Orange, we meet again. Hates the well, and here's the other thing, too, I got to say, in Jai's defense, Bio, if I may, Jai, He's a Bengal fan. So, Fugazi Plastic. Oh, geez. Tell us how you really feel, Jai. And he's a good sports fan, Bio. He's not a good sports fan. He's an excellent sports fan. Jai's on top of it. No, we don't want that. Hold on. Shannon choke, I am weak. I never heard that before. No, Jai, I tell you, Jai is yeah. Pro folk we met before. All right. Stafford and McVay. I hate him. Again, that's from the Super Bowl. Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Luke Gilford. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Yes, Val. Yeah. I know he's coming in with the Jai's coming in with the blowtorch and bazooka here. Bio's probably thinking, what the hell? So you want, listen, I think if you ask me, Jai, if you're Roger Goodell, I think he wants Rams, Patriots first, Seahawks, Patriots next. He doesn't want the Broncos anywhere near the Super Bowl. And just like I said the other day on the podcast and even on the live, when Buffalo got ousted in the playoffs, he spit out his Cabernet Sauvignon. And when he took his first bite of his Caesar salad, he spit that out knowing that Bo Nix was gone for the rest of the playoffs. And he could spin it however he wants. If Stidham, he could have the game of his life and go to a Super Bowl, he would not want that. Sorry. No way, shape, form, etc. So, all right, I'm going to throw this out there, see what people think about this. I understand there's a bit of a reach, and this could be clickbaity, but you got to hear me out on this. Do I think they're the greatest college football team ever? No. They are not the 0-1 Hurricanes, and we could go back to we could talk about whatever Notre Dame team you want to bring up. Or even better than the Nebraska teams of Tom Osborne in the mid-90s. Any of the Alabama teams. You want to go back to Bear Bryant teams. You want to go back to Saban's teams. You can. They're not better than those teams. They're not. 100%. But I have to bring them up in this regard. And I'm sure there's going to be more than one other than Fernando Mendoza. And I understand the team is like 25 years old. I get that too. But you also have to think they don't have NFL players littered on this team. And I understand age is a big factor. You know, this isn't a team that's 19 or 20. A lot of these guys are well into their 20s. But considering this program had never won, and think about it. Last year, they had a guy named Curtis Rourke as their quarterback. And then they plug in Fernando Mendoza, and the guy has a Heisman Trophy season, and they run the table 16-0, and they beat Oregon twice. They beat Ohio State in the national championship game, which probably meant more to Indiana than it did to the Buckeyes. And we saw what they did here in this postseason. I mean, yeah, are they in the top 5 all time? They make it an asterisk because of the program and because they don't have a ton of NFL talent on that team that to think, wow, granted that there are kids that like Stetson Bennett. I mean, when Stetson Bennett won those back-to-back championships at Georgia, he was 24 and 25 years old. I mean, come on. And you could say, well, hey, they had Carson Beck on Miami. He's 23. I get it. But no, they're not the best college football team ever. But because of their lack of NFL talent, other than the quarterback, and the jury's out on whether or not he's going to be a big-time NFL quarterback, as we know. He's not a lock. But let's face it. For them to do what they did, and I wasn't a big believer in them last year when they got smoked by Notre Dame, and I wasn't a big believer even after they beat Oregon the first time. And remember, in that game, Mendoza threw a pick six that tied the game in the fourth quarter, and you thought to yourself, whoa, here we go. They're going to shrink. And no, march down the field, touchdown. And understand this isn't a vintage Oregon team. I mean, they were good. But you got to give it up. That's all I'm saying about Indiana. And I'm sure, let me see some of the comments. Uh-oh. Kyle's a good head coach, I agree. And you like the Niners, Val. So for you to say that, wow. And John, yeah, I know he's a bit overrated. I know Williams is 100 years old. He's still great, but come on. And Ayuk never returned. No. He had off-field issues? I know he had the ACL. Maybe he did. I'm not aware. At least off the top of my head. But as far as Indiana goes, they shut me up. I was even killing them after they beat Oregon. It's all right, I guess I got to give them a little respect. They beat Oregon, was on the road. But I still didn't want to give them their dap. And even after they beat Ohio State, I was still like, all right, but nah. And even Alabama, I'm like, okay, it's Alabama, but it's not a vintage Alabama team. And then after they destroyed Oregon, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to come to grips with that. And then with the way they won the other night, now they led from in front the whole game. They didn't trail. They weren't in trouble. I understand the final drive. I get it, but and I wouldn't even say they're on the ropes. If Miami got to, let's say if Carson Beck completed that pass, which would have been inside the 20, then I would have said, oh, yeah, now we got a game where Indiana was sweating a little bit. To me, I don't think they were sweating until that final drive, but then obviously the pick sealed it. So that's what I got with the Indiana Hoosiers. And interesting how Bellinger signs, which, listen, I'm not surprised. Yankees had to do something. Joe Mixon's future unclear. Yeah, that's not good. And Joe Mixon is Jai's former player. Bengals. All right, I'm going to get to one more thing. Seth Jones to miss the games. I know the Olympics, huh? Less about the Olympic hockey. Sorry. All right, my final thing here before I go. I know this is a little needle to the Knicks fan. What's happened with the Knicks? Now, I got news for you. They lose tonight. Now, bad enough they lost to the Mavericks on Monday, and that was putrid. You know what the Maverick record is. They went into the Garden and beat the brakes off of them. Come on, 17 points. But now they lose tonight to the Brooklyn Nets. Somebody may get traded by it before the weekend. And I know there's been rumblings about Karl Anthony Towns. And I don't know if that Giannis, is that going to resurface again with Giannis coming here and Karl Anthony Towns going to Milwaukee? I get it that they've now lost 9 of 11 and have lost 4 in a row. I still wouldn't be too worried. Teams go through these stretches. It doesn't look good. I get it. Is it Mike Brown now? Now you're starting to hear rumblings about that. Honestly, I can't really pinpoint it. But it seems like with the Knicks fan base, the sky's falling. And all I can say is that you're 43 games into the season and you're already pushing the panic button. To me, this team, it's all about April, May, and June. Now, right, you don't want them to be a 6 seed. I get that. And right now, they're still behind the Celtics. I don't know if anybody's catching up to them, per se. Hold on. Standings. Oh, actually, the Raptors are tied, although they have 2 games in hand on the Raptors. But it's easy for me to say because I'm not a Knicks fan, but I wouldn't be that worried or that wrapped up or that discouraged, whatever word you want to throw in there. I'm kind of loving it, I'll be honest. But if I'm going to be objective, and I know I am, especially when I do a live stream like this or a podcast, whatever, because I'm not going to just all of a sudden If I'm going to rail against a team that I don't like, I'm going to do it because there's a purpose behind it, not just because, and not because I think the team is bad or whatever. It depends on where they end up. If they stay third, if they get second, great. But I don't think it's time to start worrying or start thinking that, oh, somebody actually posted the other day I saw on socials, which I laughed. Oh, ever since the NBA Cup, we haven't done this, that. They need to take the banner down, the trophy. I said, well, the banner's not up. So I said, how much of a Knicks fan you are for saying that? But I understand that's like the 22-year-old Knicks fan that was hanging off light posts and causing a ruckus outside of Madison Square Garden after they beat the Celtics in the second round. And I still, to this day, I still can't believe that the Celtics lost that series. And I know why, but forget it. But that aside, I get that Knicks fan is starving, thirsting for any type of success. And I get it, beating the Celtics in the second round. Well, you would have thought they won an NBA championship. Even Spike Lee and Stephen A. came out, oh, it was something to celebrate. Oh, it's been 25 years. What? That's like me saying the Mets went to an NLCS 2 seasons ago, and I'm jumping up and down for joy. You could scrub all of my social media posts. Never once did I even make a mention about the Mets during that postseason. If I did, it was because of the podcast, but not because, oh, we're in the NLCS, oh, we're going to beat the Dodgers, all that. Nope, not this guy. You know my saying, don't mean a thing if you ain't got the ring. And if you haven't won, don't talk. Stay quiet. Division champions, look at it, Steelers won Sunday night against a couple Sundays ago and got the AFC North. Do you think I care about that? Winning a division? Oh, it's cute. It's nice, but and I celebrate that because over the hated Ravens, but it's not like, oh, we're AFC North champs. What? You're never going to hear that from my mouth. Even if the Mets won the pennant, I'd be like, nope. Got one more mountain to climb. That's the mountain I want to climb. Winning a pennant is nice. Yeah, you can celebrate it next year. Give me the ring. So, and that's what I got. Is the trade imminent? I don't know. If they lose tonight, who knows? Probably. But then that would be a knee-jerk reaction, and who knows the fans. Leon Rose, who obviously he's in a witness protection program. You don't even know where he is. He doesn't meet the media, doesn't talk to the media, nothing. Oh, yeah. Thank God I'm not a Knicks fan. So let's see the comments here. Comments. Let's see. Bio. Listen, I'm pulling for you guys. I don't want to see the Broncos in the game. I hate them. I definitely do not want to see the Patriots. Think about this. The Patriots win and have the most Super Bowls in the history of the sport. And, of course, they're tied with the Steelers. You think I want to see them win? No. I've seen the Patriots win enough for 40 lifetimes. Enough. And I'll go as far as saying this right now at this very moment. And I thought about this the other day. The Patriots will have a down year next year. And by down, they're not going to be 8-9 or 9-8. They're not going to be 14-3. And people are going to say, whoa, Jay Reels, are you nuts? The Drake May bandwagon is starting to fill up now. And with Mike Vrabel as coach, I get it. First place schedule, number one. This year, your schedule was a joke. And I picked them as an under, not looking at the schedule really with, perusing it the way I should have. And they were 8.5. And if you played that as an over, God bless you. My over-runners were 1-5 this year. And that was the worst over-runners I've had ever. I've never gone 0-6. When I think about it. But back to the point. They'll have a down year. You think after this thing with the Bills, and I'm not a Bill fan either, I understand with a new coach, new building, you think that they're going to want to, please, they want to take that division back. And if that's the case, that 2 seed that they were this year, they'll be a 5 seed next year. Maybe 6, depending. And that's another reason why they got successful this year. No Kansas City, no Baltimore, and Buffalo, because they beat them out in the division, they were bottom rung in the AFC. That ain't happening next year with New England. They may fight for a division. Yeah, I can see that. But Buffalo's going to do anything and everything to get that division back, especially after what's happened here over the last 48 hours. which I thought was unfair that Sean McDermott got fired. And I'm not trying to make him out to be Chuck Noll, Tom Landry, etc. No. But that game wasn't on him. And I understand he's lost a lot of these games, playoffs, etc. And you could foil him for other mishaps in the postseason. This one was not on him, but they pulled the plug. And then they're trying to make him out with the whole press conference earlier today, as I saw. I didn't watch the whole thing, but just the snippets of it, where, Keon Coleman, the coaches wanted him. So not only did they kick him out the door, but they also put a knife in his back on top of that. I mean, really? And even though the GM, who's now the president of the Bills, even though the GM said, oh, no, well, yeah, the coaches wanted him, but obviously I'm part of the process making the selection, blah, blah, blah. Oh, no. Yeah, just kick him and stab him on the way out. I mean, come on. That is his lowbrow. The mighty one. Where's my mouse? Oh, it's over here. Yeah, I'm not a fan of John Lynch. And he's another one, borderline Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Fame, but not in my eyes. Is Goodell good at his job? Listen, Goodell's been better the last few years, but overall, his tenure has been awful. And I'm not a Goodell fan because he thinks he's Mr. Tough Guy. Yeah, that mid-20, the 20 teens was not a good look for him. Deflategate, Ray Rice, concussions, him going into the podium on draft night. I think it was in Chicago. Well, I think it was in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, Chicago, one of the two, where he's like, come on, bring it on, when they're booing the hell out of him. What is this, WWE? Stop. He's done better, Val. I'll say that, but yeah, I'm not a fan of his. And listen, anybody could do that job. And people could laugh at me when I say that, but come on. All you got to do is keep the owners at bay. Owners, we want more money from the networks. We want to get streaming. We want to get this. Can we get more money from the cooking channel? Listen, it's the NFL. They're bulletproof. If he was running the WNBA, that's more of a not. Put it this way, I got a better one. This may not be well with the soccer fans, so I'm going to reel in the WNBA one because they've done better now. And I got no ifs, ands, buts against the WNBA. How about this? Let Roger Goodell go to MLS. Let me see him go there and pull rabbits out of his hat. Then I'll tell you how good of a commissioner he is. Because, come on, let's face it. You or I could run the NFL. I mean, they print money. I mean, geez. Zip. Useless cup games wore him out. People may hands his. You didn't hear from Towns. Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they were hell-bent on winning that cup, and then when they won, it was almost like, I don't know. 49er roster's getting old. Yes, it is. But to go back to this, did the cup games wear him out? Listen, I guess since then, well, they're not 2-9 since then because that was early December. I just think they're hitting a lull. And I don't know, it's Towns. I know he had good numbers the other day. Let me see. What's Karl Anthony Towns' numbers? I don't want to put it all on Towns. All right, these are his last few games. Yeah, Warriors, 20 rebounds. I mean, he's put up good numbers, but yeah, 6 for 18 you don't like. 9 for 19. Listen, is it all on Towns? I know he gets those stupid fouls at times. How I look at it is this. If the Knicks are going to trade Towns away, they better get Giannis back or someone of that ilk. Because, and who knows? I understand his stock is probably a little bit low, but yeah, I mean, he's a polarizing player. He's a guy that, again, in today's NBA, he's going to shoot threes. And he's a good three-point shooter. He can't defend to save his life. And you think of a guy that tall that you'd be able to defend. He does not. Stupid fouls. I get it. I mean, what can you say? Let's see them lose tonight. And that'll be fun because then tomorrow on the podcast, well, if they lose tonight, I'll have a field day. But if they win, 120-99, I mean, is anybody going to care? No. I won't say that the Knicks are 100%, but and who knows? I wonder if Jordy Fernandez, a coach, is going to say, hey, guys, they're reeling. Let's jump on them. Let's get on them. Let's win this game. But I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, yeah. Zip, you said it best. All hell will break loose. And who knows? Will James Dolan come out in a George Steinbrenner-esque fashion to say, we must trade somebody. We must do this. We must do that. Devin, welcome, man. I appreciate you. I run a Knicks former fan trauma center for nonprofit. Hey, yeah, there you go. That's a good one. I like that. Devin, are you from New York? I'm curious. Former fan trauma center for nonprofit. That's good. I like that. Don't hesitate to reach out to our reps. Yes, 1-888. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like some silly numbers. Let me tell you. Oh, Yonkers originally. All right. That's one town north of me. Now, you still in New York or are you outside New York now? Just curious. I'm always curious when I see new people here in the chat and the live stream to always get a finger on the pulse of where everybody's from. I'm glad you brought that up, Zip, because as I know you're well aware, Saturday they're doing that. He's hosting that event down in the West Village. I will be there. And I've developed a little bit of a rapport with him. Not only was he on the podcast, was it now 2 summers ago, but I'm going to talk to him face to face to see if I can have him on. And I'll get you a comment in a second, Devin. Yeah, I'm going to see to get him on. And even if I have to do that live stream at night, I will, but it'll be, trust me, if he's willing to come on, which I think he is, because he's on a bunch of other people's lives right now. If you wonder who Keith McPherson is, guys, he was formerly on WFAN. I think he fills in from time to time, but he did the evenings, 7 to midnight. He trolls Met fans, which once I get him on the live, I'm going to definitely get him on that. But doing big things in his space. And, yeah, I'll be there on Saturday, and I'll talk to him, and I'll try to schedule something. So, yeah. I'm going to see what we can do to make that happen. Devin, good shit, man. Yes, I moved around. Oh, you're in Seattle. All right. Oh, I'm sure it's crazy up there now with the Seahawks. Oh, I appreciate it, man. No, thank you for hopping on board. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you already have, I appreciate that. Hey, this is true sports talk, real sports talk. No clickbait, rage bait. You're not going to get any of that nonsense here. Whether it's the live streams, my podcast, my shorts, my vlogs, you name it. This channel is for the sports fan. And then, I branch out a little bit. I try to do some lifestyle stuff, uplift, etc. But, yeah, this is sports nevertheless. Because there's a lot of – and I don't want to shout anybody out because, they're doing their own thing. But to me, if you're going to do this, you're going to do this right. With integrity, obviously knowledgeable. You got to be entertaining. If I sat here and I started talking about this, well, today the Mets, they traded for so-and-so, and I don't know how I feel about the trade, and I wonder if they're going to make another trade. No. Nah. And this is just me being real, authentic, because sports is my life. I've been following sports, watching sports. Yeah, I played sports back in the day, haven't we all? But since day one, 56 years of age, and I've been doing this in some way, shape, or form for 25 years. Whether it was at a local community center in the Bronx, whether it was internet radio from 2008 to 2013, whether it was AM radio periodically out in Long Island in West Babylon, New York, my podcast now, my live streams. I mean, come on. If I can't parlay this into doing this, generating some income, which I'm still waiting to happen. And actually, I got another partnership. I got two, in fact. I'm hoping for sponsorships. That's what I really want. I want someone to sponsor because that means that's it. Ka-ching. the check is in the bank. Where the partnerships, this is where I need your help. You got to go and not necessarily log in. We go to the website. I got to order stuff. I get a percentage back, which is great. But I got a couple that just came down the pike. And, well, the end of the month is next week when I think about it. Definitely into February, I'll put it out there. I'll probably put it on the lives. I already have a couple that Olipop Soda and BetterHelp. But, yeah, this is what I mean. I ain't playing. And the guys that have been following me for a year, more than a year, that are in this chat room, they know. Every Wednesday, high noon. And I do live stream games. As a matter of fact, come Friday, by Friday I should know for sure because I may go to my in-laws to watch both games. I'm not going to do Denver and New England. If I'm going to do a live stream, I'm doing Rams-Seahawks. So stay tuned for that here on the channel. I'll keep you guys posted on that. So, but Devin, yeah, man, I appreciate you. And I appreciate the kind words. Stay hopeful. Absolutely. Without question. One more time, I thank you for that. And with that being said, should I land this plane? I don't got anything else. I don't have anything else to report. Let me see. Sports-wise, obviously you got the podcast tomorrow. Podcast pregame right here on YouTube, 9:30 a.m. So we'll see if the Knicks lose. Maybe I could stick it into the Knicks fan a little bit. What do you think about this bio real quick? ESPN has this article, Baxter Holmes, inside the Buses family, $10 billion sale of the Lakers. She fired everyone. I know her and her brothers have been at each other's throats. But, yeah, maybe we could talk about that offline. Oh, I'm getting texts here. What is this? I'll have to respond to her afterwards. It's my therapy session later today. But, yeah, bio, we could talk about that offline if anything. But with that being said, that will conclude another live stream. As always, people, I appreciate you. Let me just go through. Yeah, and for those who are wondering, real quick, I still have the JV Rose podcast on YouTube, but because I've gotten 1,000 subscribers, I've gotten a little bit more views on the podcast. It's still there, but once it's official, once I parlay that into that on the YouTube channel, I will let you guys and gals know. Val B, I appreciate the high five. But with that being said, again, tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., podcast pregame. The type of content, we talked about that before. Any last thoughts in the chat room? I'll post them up here. Please subscribe, leave a comment. You already know. Latest edition of the podcast coming to you tomorrow around 12:30, 1 o'clock. Apple, Spotify, right here, of course, on YouTube. And thanks to all that stopped by, live or replay. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment. I'll be more than happy to follow up with you guys and gals because whether you do or do not know, this is what I love to do, people. It's in the blood. It's in the DNA. If you couldn't tell over the last 2 hours, then I don't know. You're going to have to come back to the podcast pregame tomorrow, 9:30, or the podcast tomorrow, or whatever, because as long as I'm alive, breathing, and in front of this microphone and camera, I promise I will deliver nothing but passion, fire, energy, fury, my thoughts, opinions, critiques, praise, analysis, feelings on anything and everything that happens in the world of the diamond, ice, gridiron, hardwood, golf course, racetrack, tennis court, boxing ring, octagon, you name it. From my lips to your ears, from my heart to your soul, from where I am to wherever you are. The J Reels live stream always comes live, correct, direct, and in full effect. From the South Bronx, the South Beach, the South Central, the South Pacific, and all points beyond. Peace, love, and God bless everybody. Until tomorrow, 9:30 a.m., and, of course, the podcast as well. And next Wednesday, I actually have a special guest, maybe 2 special guests next week, so you want to keep that in mind as we get to next Wednesday's live stream. As always, coming at you live, correct, direct, and in full effect. Enjoy the rest of your hump day. Hopefully, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And until then, on the flip, baby.